you go. Testing. Hey, the broadcast is live. Hello, hello. I cannot hear you, no. Let me make sure that I've got my settings
There's that
right.
little red light. You hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you. Yes, I can.
Okay. There we go.
I was about to read my lead-in paragraph here so you could audio check me.
There
But
we
you
go.
got me?
Yeah, and we're
Testing,
live
testing,
on
1, 2.
YouTube too.
Yes, I see that.
There we go. Rolling.
Hello.
How's it going, man? Oh, we got someone else.
Yo,
Scotty.
yo.
Good. How are you doing?
What's up?
What up?
Scott,
Hey,
hello.
how's it going? I'm trying to see who. Hey, Alex Martin. What's up, bro? Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, we
Yeah.
got you.
Alex.
Okay.
Cool. What's up, dudes?
What's up, man?
Chilling. Just I don't know. I just I have a buddy who does a chat on YouTube, and been going to some of the chats, and they're just a lot more productive than most of the stuff on Facebook, at least these days. And like I know, like I've met Alex, and I've met maybe 2 out of 10 of my friends on Facebook in real life, and and then it's been like year after year. So it's just like I want to like do a chat with these people that are like my friends, and I don't even really know what these guys look like half the time. And it's like, so it's kind of like it's a little bit of an interesting change, I think. And I'm just gonna try and do these a couple times a week and just try and get like a group, of like cool people meeting up and actually like talking about stuff productive.
Imagine
in a productive way and things like that, because Facebook is just a beast.
Right.
And
it's meta. It's
yeah.
meta shitty.
Let's nutty.
Yeah.
Well, we've met each other, but it's been like 11 years or something. So.
Where was this?
You and I?
Yeah.
Well, I'm using my fake name.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Now I recognize you.
Yeah, you know who I am now.
And you've lost a lot of weight since the last time I've seen you too.
No doxing.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, yeah, but if I have to tell the audience if they exist, so I know you from what would we call it? The Kokesh compound back in LA?
Or those beach parties, maybe? The beach party was the first thing I met you at. Yeah.
I think that was it. Right. And then I should still have, I think on my YouTube page, I still have a video.
The interview. Yeah.
I would link
interviewed me. That one's funny.
Yeah, man. I had
very candid.
Those got a lot of views, actually. That was like 2013, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Or even 12 or even 11, maybe.
It's been a minute.
Because I was doing those before the election, I think, in 2012. All those beach parties.
I only remember going to one where you were at.
That was after Adam Adam was in jail, right?
It was like fundraising or whatever for his legal defense.
It was Alex Jones donated a bunch of gear to us to like give away to people who showed up. It was pretty funny.
I know. I remember there was like an InfoWars reporter, bro.
Yeah.
There, right.
Yeah. It was odd, and that dude ended up being like a complete plant.
I think I remember. I wasn't around for the saga, but I remember hearing about that stuff.
Yeah,
a little bit, and of course, all the other fallout and everything.
Dean Ryan was his name. Dean Ryan. Dean Ryan was his name.
Dean Ryan. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very odd dude.
Old Dino, man. I don't know him at all, but I remember. Yeah, homeboy was there.
Very personable guy, but like odd dude.
Yeah, man. So like,
I met Alex at Float Fest. I got you into Float. Alex, I met at Float Fest, I believe. So you guys are actually 2 people that I've actually met, which is crazy. Odds wise.
I mean,
what are you doing, Alex? What are you doing these days?
Yeah.
Can he hear us?
Is his video frozen? It looks frozen.
I think he might be frozen.
He's not
Right.
moving, bro. He's flatlining.
Well, what have you been up to, dude?
Ah, boo.
You asking me now?
Yeah. Oh, we hear you now, Alex. You're just coming in real slow. Really pixelated.
It looks good to me. I can see it. So
Oh, now I gotcha.
He moved. He moved a little bit.
Yeah. His hand.
let me see if I can switch to a different. No.
Maybe turn off your video and turn it back
hold
on.
on.
Or whatever. Well, yeah, man. Right
One
now,
second.
I'm at a.
Hold on.
Oh yeah, he's going. So Float is a streaming app where you watch UFC fights and stuff and comment on
That's
them.
what I used to. I used to host UFC fights on Float,
Right.
and like had a little group going. It's just like a social media site run by some cool like anarchist couple that like it's all free speech and all that stuff. But it's it's tough because not many people, not enough people are using it. A lot of us are backing it quite a bit, but it's like we're the only ones there. It's just like when that Steam It came out, and like we all went there, but it's like, okay.
Yeah.
It was just kind of an echo chamber, but so it's hopefully, it'll end up being a cool social media site. But me and Allie flew to Austin and rode our bikes to this little city that they had a festival at. And that's where we met Alex, but it was pretty fun.
Float Fest.
It was a Float Fest, yeah. And then they had one last year, and that's way better, dude. Way better.
There he goes. There he goes.
Yeah. Except your audio's gone though.
Oh boy.
The feed's way better though, but your audio. Yeah, just hit the little three dots and reconnect your mic. But yeah, Float Fest was cool.
Yeah,
but
sounds.
But again, not much outreach going on. It's mostly just actually Float Fest. There was a lot of like conservatives and like Texas Republicans mixing with anarchists and stuff. So it was probably a good event for outreach, at least to conservatives and stuff like that.
I mean, do people care about free speech? That's the real question, right?
Yeah, enough people do that they gathered, a bunch of people flew cross country to go to some event in the middle of Texas in like a bus stop or a truck stop town. Like it was pretty nuts. We rode our bikes like 300 miles to get there. Are you there, Alex?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
I can.
Yeah.
Now I can't hear you. That's fantastic.
Oh no,
it's funny because Alex.
This is what I do for a living. Hang on, I'll try it again. One moment.
Alex looks
I
like
got an issue with my audio interface. I'll fix it. Give me a second. It's probably just the output settings. 1 second.
Yeah, you got the best equipment, bro.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all it is.
This is how it should
but
go.
Now I got you can upload your entire. Well, no, that's library. There's library too. Library allows you to upload your whole YouTube to it, which is kind of cool if you have a lot of YouTube content.
So, hey guys, I'm back. Thank you for being patient. Sorry about that. What a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Yeah, your feed looks way better. I don't know what you did, but it's like 1,000 times better.
Well, you would ask me where I am. I'm in Austin. I live in an RV, so I'm at a trailer park.
Yeah,
and I was using the park's Wi-Fi, and it's just kind of crap right now. So
yeah.
Switched over to the hotspot on my phone.
Yeah,
so
it's way better.
So you have a podcast studio in an RV?
Yeah, this is like the front seating area, and I've got my computer here and a couple of lights and my mic arm here, and
this RV looks like Tesla built it.
it's a Airstream base camp. And I've been struggling with this PC and these audio interfaces. It just doesn't like sending audio to the same device it's getting it from for some reason. And Windows, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So
it looks good. It looks cool. The video is nice.
Thank you. I
And
appreciate
now the
that.
audio is legit.
Yeah. Just gotta. Well, it'll eventually they'll release an update that'll just magically fix it, and nobody will ever mention it again. It'll be fine.
I mean, you could have a background where it looks like you're in the Bahamas or whatever.
Well, yeah, I could just like pull this down and put like a picture in the background.
Yep.
Well, there's all these apps just do it for you these days.
Yeah, I'll
like
just put a green
TikTok and
screen
all
back
that,
there,
like,
and then I could
weird.
just map in whatever I want. That'd be perfect. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't know why I hadn't thought of that.
So yeah, we were just talking about Float Fest.
Right. Now,
and-
Jeffrey, I know you were there. Scott, were you
Yeah.
there?
No, I've never
No,
been
okay.
to any float related
Yeah.
activity, but I know of it just through Jeffrey's like Facebook posting. That's all. That's the outreach.
Year one was a little breezy. Year two was a little breezy and hot. So finding a good space, finding the right time where everybody can make it. People are traveling during the spring and summer, for other events.
For sure.
It's a challenge.
Year
But,
one was really nice. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
windy. We rode our bikes into that wind
oh my
to the
God.
event and away from the event. It was absolutely crazy.
The wind in your face, both directions. Great.
Yeah, it was at least it was warm. Like at least it was warm. Like we left year one. We left at like as the sun was going down on our
Yeah.
bikes, like
Yeah.
into
I was
the
stunned
dark,
that you
and
guys
had to
rode.
ride all the way back to Austin, and it was like that
You say-
night we ended up like getting on the wrong road. They were like repaving some road we were on, and it was just muddy, and like we thought it was gonna rain. And I mean,
You saying
did it
you
rain?
rode
It was
300
it was
miles?
insane.
You
Huh?
said you rode 300 miles to this event or
Both,
whatever?
I think there and back, it was like close to 300.
Damn. Could have just ridden
Yeah.
from California and back to do all that.
No, that's really far.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
quite-
surprised that you guys survived the ride in from Austin. I mean, it was a long drive just to drive it.
That's-
So
It was
I
long,
wouldn't have
and
run
there
it.
was so much roadkill you would not believe. Like it was really like we're kind of traumatized by that trip.
Yeah.
Because There
Wow.
was so much roadkill, and we went the wrong direction, like 60 miles in the wrong direction the first
Aye.
night. Ended up like in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the dark, dogs chasing us. Like it was crazy. It was fun though.
dogs.
Dogs.
Like,
Wild
or
dogs.
just pet dogs?
No, like people's dogs out front of their ranch houses.
Yeah.
Like they're huge
Right.
Texas houses, and they
Yes.
just chase shit, and they're just like, oh, fucking weirdos on bikes, so they
Yeah.
chase
Wow.
us. Yeah.
And they have the right to shoot you if you're close enough, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Stand
Everyone
your
was
ground on that.
really nice there, and like everyone we talked to was like, "When are you moving to California?" Or when are you moving from California here?
Texas, yeah.
Like it was, yeah,
That's what
it
I'm
was
saying.
pretty funny.
I'll be right back, guys. Yeah. Sorry.
All right, dude.
Well, it's the thing you learn quickly about small towns in Texas is that people can afford to be really nice because they all know each other,
Yeah,
and they're like, be nice first and then shoot.
yeah.
If you come correct and you're nice and
Yeah.
polite and decent, you're all good. Everybody will be welcome into their
Yeah,
homes.
it was really funny because we were just, wearing our spandex riding gear, and people
you
would
do.
just start talking to us. What are you guys doing out here?
Yeah, right.
"What, you're from California? Like it was funny.
Yeah.
And all we saw in the media is, ooh, Texans trying to, hate all these people moving here, and they're
No.
like, and it's like we went there, and everyone's like, oh, we got some land you guys can live on.
Yeah, you guys
like,
wanna move
everyone
in?
was
It's
so
fine.
nice. They're like,
Hey, come
"Get
on
out of
inside, we'll-
California."
Yeah, come on inside. We'll feed you. We'll take care of you. I mean,
Yeah, and it's like
it's-
complete opposite of what the media was saying.
Right. it's what it's like to live in a high trust society where you know the culture, you know your neighbors, you're involved in local politics, you're involved in community events, and you don't fear like the outside, unless
Yeah.
it comes with trying to bring trouble, and then you like lock up lines against it, and that's that. So that's
Yeah.
probably what people. If you come to Texas trying to start some shit, you can expect
Yeah,
Texans
no,
to push back.
you're not gonna. Yeah, it's not gonna end well.
Yeah. Are we still getting Scott's background sound there? Let's.
I think so. I
Can
think
we
I
can we mute him real quick?
There we go.
There you go. Beautiful.
This is my first time using this interface. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I use StreamYard myself. It's a really great app.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much my go-to.
So what you been doing, man?
I'm here in Austin now.
Yeah.
Just kind of living in town. I was in Marble
Yeah,
Falls.
you're living in town, huh?
In town.
That
in
must be
town.
kind of cool.
It's actually pretty cool. I used to live in Austin back in like the 90s. Scott's
Yeah.
back. You can unmute him if you want. Yeah.
There
Welcome
we
back,
go.
man.
Oh, thanks, man.
Snacks.
Let me rejoin in a couple minutes. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So yeah, I used to live here back in the late '90s, and was in the sound business. I was doing sound for bands on 6th Street and hanging out, and went to college here for a little while, and moved to California to pursue work and various other places. And coming back to Texas, I was like, oh, I'll stay out in the hill country for a while. It's nice out there. It's 45 minutes away from town. It's a heck of a lot cheaper to sort of get established. And it was lovely, but it was very limiting. I lived 45 minutes from town. I maybe came into Austin 5 times in a whole year. You think you're going to drive that hour in and back every couple of days. You're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So when it was time to like start, I want to, I have some old friends here I wanted to reconnect with and hang out with, and then make new friends and stuff. Go to places,
Yeah.
do things. Like I said, small town. People are very tight knit. It's hard to break into a new scene when you live in a small town.
Yeah.
So I decided.
And that
to
was
come
back
out here.
when it was actually cool before it became like culturally cool. Like Austin in the 90s it wasn't really known to be a cool place before like South by Southwest started happening or something like that. Like that really put it on the map.
It was Austin already had a reputation as being sort of the music capital, whatever, of Texas.
Yeah.
And being a little strange, it's always been a little weird. Hippies and money, ex-hippies with lots of money, the California coast, Big Sur, Austin area. They used to call Austin the Third Coast, because it had very sort of coastal values. I was here 93, 94. And South by Southwest just started. They don't call it that anymore. It's South by now. They had to cut the Southwest out. Sorry, guys. But yeah, it's changed a lot. It's grown up. More buildings, less of a live music scene, more DJs, more college kids, more tech startups and stuff like that. But it's
I was there. The only time I've been there was, I guess it must have been maybe like 2007.
Yeah.
No. 2017, 2016.
Yeah.
It was very cool coming from LA. I was like, holy crap, I could probably live here. Like, this is a pretty cool spot as far as like, it seemed like everyone hung out more, not like so much just at clubs. Like people after work would go, like almost felt like more of a college-y town.
Yeah, the hangout
Younger
at a barbecue
crowd,
place.
for sure.
Yeah. Hanging out at a barbecue place or at a food truck park or just
Food
out in
trucks
public.
all over the place. There's cool
everywhere.
Airstream businesses everywhere. Like that was really cool. Free market stuff. Like
that's a Central Texas hill country kind of thing. People just kind of like being outside. Austin's always been a very outdoorsy area. I live now, this park where I'm staying now is like 5 minutes away from Zilker Park, 5 minutes away from Barton Spring. So right on the edge of the hill country, the green area. It's really nice. If you're like, expecting the things to go sideways and you're wanting to get away from town, Austin is a town, so it's a city. So maybe that's not your thing.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty relaxed. It's not as hardcore as a city like LA or maybe New York would be. It's definitely.
How's it been with Rogan and all his crew moving there?
I really haven't had much interaction with that. I know that the Del Bigtree's over in Dripping Springs, which is about a half an hour away.
Del's cool.
Alex Jones has been here forever.
Yeah.
I have friends of mine that knew Alex when he was on public access TV, back in the early 90s. So he's been a fixture.
Back when he was Bill Hicks.
Right after he was Bill Hicks.
Yeah.
I made that joke to somebody and they're like, who, what? And I'm like, come on, man. You don't know the Bill Hicks thing? So he's been around here for a long, long time. I think maybe more recognizable lately for, obvious reasons, but he's been part of the Austin scene for a minute. Rogan, I don't know where he hangs out. I'm not going to go looking for him. I'm not that kind of, try to get close to people kind of guy. But a lot of folks have moved to Texas. It's driven prices up, traffic's up a little bit. We'll see how long that lasts, Texas is
there's this show called Kill Tony. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like a live comedy podcast where you go up and they pick your name out of a hat and you go up and you do 1 minute comedy and then like a celebrity panel kind of roasts you, but they're like just
That sounds
celebrity
cool.
comedians. It's
Yeah.
really fun. It's really funny because it's really bad most of the time.
Oh,
Like
sure.
9 out of 10 people bomb. It's like
Oh yeah.
you really start to see the stereotypical person that lives in Austin. It's funny,
Yeah.
like all that, or the stereotypical comedian that lives in
Sure.
Austin.
Well,
But
yeah. A lot
but
of what
they've,
people
like,
think is comedy is just rants. That's
Yeah.
not funny. That's just you being angry on stage.
Yeah,
You got to make it
yeah.
funny for me. Come on.
Yeah. The format
Yeah.
was so good. I actually brought it up to Aaron and Kingsley. I was like, you really should do this format at Float Fest. It would
Right.
be an absolute riot.
Well,
But then anyway, the show moved there from LA. It moved to Austin when Joe moved out there. And it's
I
just,
gotcha.
it's been crazy just like how much of, like how many people moved out there, like because of that guy.
Sure. Well, comedians
from
are
his like celebrity friends to all, like everyone's moving to Austin from all over the country to do comedy now because
Yeah.
Kill Tony moved there and Joe Rogan moved there and Joe Rogan's
Right.
opening up a comedy store or something there.
sure.
And it's just nuts to see like a town just all of a sudden be bombarded by like millions of
Bad comedians.
yeah, bad liberal comedians from LA. Like
I'm not even gonna
and all
laugh
these
at it,
guys have
honestly.
moved there and now they're super conservative, like
Well, if they want to play to Joe Rogan, they think they have to be, maybe.
yeah, well, he does it too.
Industries like that are very incestuous. You get somebody hits it big, and then I don't know if you remember the Rodney Dangerfield Comedy Club that he had in New York. This is back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Dangerfield hit big, did a couple of movies, and then he opened a club. And then all the guys, all the comedians, all the really great ones of the late 80s, half of them got their start at Dangerfield's club.
Those are
Dangerfield's is what
really
it's
good
called.
videos. All that,
Sure.
all that footage of those comedy
Yeah.
sketches are all really good
Oh,
at
yeah.
his club.
And you imagine that there's probably a lot of people that played that stage that were just bad.
Yeah.
But you got the names that and you look back and there they were. So comedians, when they do well, it's part of the deal. They're very tight. They all hang out, and it's not surprising that a huge number of them have shifted over here because Rogan. Because he's like I don't know how funny Rogan is. I'm not a big fan of
he's
his
not
comedy,
funny.
to be honest. But and I don't mean to take shots at famous people just to be controversial. But
His
I
comedy's
like
pretty bad.
yeah, I'm more of a I don't want to say
Carlin kind of guy.
Carlin from the old days. What's the
Yeah.
guy, the stoner guy that died recently?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm thinking of
Little one-liner guy. What's
I
his
can't
name?
do names. Yeah,
Yeah.
um,
Mitch Hedberg.
Mitch Hedberg. Yeah,
Yeah, he was
really funny. Yeah, kind of a modern day Stephen Wright kind of thing.
Yeah, and no one's been able to do that style
No.
ever again. Really.
Thank you
Like,
for
he
remembering
just-
that.
He killed it.
Yeah,
And
I don't
he
want to.
was, he was a death metal drummer.
Was he? He
He's
looked
in a
like
death
it.
metal band.
Yeah.
Like he was like a crazy death metal dude. But
Yeah.
his just like he was such like a young kind of like he seemed like a little kid, and then his
Yeah.
jokes are so simple. Like he just had
And he
like
liked
a
him.
niche.
And he laughed at his own stuff. He was having such a great
Yeah.
time, you could tell. And whether that was a bit or whether that was just his natural personality, it doesn't matter. It was really good.
He was really
Yeah,
funny.
I don't want to be preached at when I'm at a comedy club.
Yeah.
I've seen that kind of stuff. Chappelle can do it because he's earned the stripes. You can spend an hour watching Chappelle talk about modern problems.
Yeah.
There's a couple of comedians who've earned the right to preach, but I'm not going to go sit in an open mic and listen to every guy off the street tell me for 5 minutes about how he's angry at something. It's not funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
You mentioned at Float Fest on year one when we did when Del Bigtree was there, he did his presentation, and then he sat on a panel of folks where people did like their rants, which is
Yeah.
similar to the comedy
I
thing you're
did one.
talking
It was
about.
crazy.
Yeah, and that was really good. We had like 28 people got up there and like did a 2-minute rant, and and he was like, "Well, I like where you're coming from. Your energy's good. Your presentation's good. You need to focus a little bit better, and gave some real meaningful feedback to people who.
Yeah, I wish I had seen a couple more because I was like the
Yeah.
second person up, so I didn't really fully understand
what was going on.
what was
Yeah.
supposed to go on.
You're like, "Can I
So
go
didn't
again?"
really-
To
like
try-
now, knowing after watching a bunch of them, I was like, oh, I totally should have did like I
Right.
had something else. But
Right.
if
I had a better
next
bit.
year
I
will
could have
be
done the better bit.
next year will be way different.
Next year. Yeah. So I like that about what we did at Float Fest was that
That
we
was
had,
really fun. That's what I
and,
was
you know,
saying. Like, if they did
yeah.
the comedy thing, that would be super cool too.
Yeah.
Along with that, like, have everyone come up and do like 30 seconds of jokes or
Oh my
something, and
God.
then an
What's your
interview.
best single joke? Tell me your
Yeah,
best. Yeah.
everyone has a
Yeah.
joke,
Everyone's got a good
like,
one.
and then they get like a little interview, and we actually
Yeah.
learn something about the people that we're hanging out with, like.
Right. Well, you want to have speakers and personalities, luminaries come to your event. People pay for that. They bring audiences. Hopefully, that those people are also promoting your event, so that some of their audience will come with them. And you want that, but you also want to have an experience with those people. We wanted to do more than just have them be there and then walk off the stage and disappear. We wanted them to hang out and like shoot the shit and give pointers and feedback and maybe do workshops and just be there and hang out.
Dude, just being around
kinda
people
cool.
not wearing masks
Yeah.
was the
Well,
was the like mind blowing thing of year
Yeah.
one. Like, that was the
Yeah.
first time, and we came from LA, man.
right.
We like rode our bikes in, and we got there and went just walked up to the fire, and we were standing there, and we
With
looked at
people,
everyone. Well, oh
faces.
my God, no
Right.
one's wearing a mask, and everyone's talking right in front of
Right.
each other. Like, it was
Right.
like we were totally blown away.
Well,
And it was
I mean,
so
when you
strange to be blown away by that.
right
It was
when
like,
you think about a year and a half or so of lockdowns and
yeah. And
mask
we were all
wearing,
kind of a little socially awkward because we're just
Yeah.
like,
We're all a
whoa,
little
not
derpy
used to
from-
being around people again.
exactly.
Luckily,
and that
you were
was,
there.
yeah, that was the weekend that Texas struck down its mask mandate too. So
Yeah.
the day we
yeah.
opened
It was like
the
that.
day
Yeah.
that the state said, you know what? County by county, you can do what you want. The state is not going to enforce this mandate anymore.
Yeah.
And people showed up and they were like, you mean I don't have to? And we were like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
That was really cool.
And
then even going to like the supermarkets around there, everybody was very like it was obviously like a transitional era of that time.
Yeah. People in the local community probably hadn't been wearing them for a minute. So,
Yeah.
when you live in a small town like the place we were,
I've never seen small towns like I saw on that trip,
Yeah.
man. That was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I've been a lot of places, but I haven't seen Texas, at all.
Right. Well, I
Except
did
for Austin, and Austin's kind of not very, very good example of Texas.
Yeah. No.
Or
that's true.
or it is, but
It
not,
is in a way.
not
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
Riding
I-
across it was definitely interesting.
No doubt. I went on a driving tour of Texas. I've driven across the state a couple times in my life, but recently, like in 2021, I think I did it. So it was during the lockdowns, partially. Some places were more open than others. Parts of Texas were still locked down. I drove through Alpine and Marfa, which are out on the west side of Texas. And if anybody's ever been there, they're very different. They're like 30 minutes away from each other. Marfa is supposed to be like an arts community. It's a little aging kind of, knickknack shops and wine and paint stores and stuff.
Yeah.
And then Alpine is like, biker bars and barbecue joints. So they're not exactly very similar. Alpine was like, whatever, dude, it's on you. Whatever happens to you happens to you. And Marfa was like, please respect the sanctity of our small town. Our people are very conscious about. I'm like, I just wanted to find a farmer's market, and the folks in Alpine didn't have a farmer's market, but they were like, have a drink, okay.
Yeah, that's funny.
So it varies from place to place.
Yeah, I spent like an evening looking at Google Earth, of just that area, and I was like, holy crap, like it was a very different looking place than the West Coast.
Yeah,
it was beautiful. It was really cool though. We were riding through some farm areas, and it was very like surreal, like flat.
So how many miles would you say?
Long.
How many miles would you say you guys have put on your bike or bikes or bodies? Maybe it's better. Probably change bikes.
Allie, what was your mileage last year? Strava, yeah. Like four. She averages around 100 miles a week, sometimes more.
All right.
So, and it's like very consistent.
Yeah. Yeah. Every time I see
whatever that turns out, it's a lot of miles. It was like 14,000 last year, wasn't it? The elevation is the really scary part.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, like the elevation's like, because mileage is like, okay, but the elevation.
Yeah. Figure the vertical miles too.
Wait, you clicked over 1 million miles, didn't you? You clicked over some crazy number recently. Yeah, she's She's really into riding bikes.
So which one of you started? Was it you
She,
or her?
no,
Did you
she
guys-
got me into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we first started dating, she was always out on her bike, and I'm like, great, I guess I have to become a
Yeah.
cyclist to hang out with my
If you want to
girlfriend.
spend time with her, you better get a bike.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And
Can
she
imagine.
looked really cute in the spandex. So it was
Yeah,
like,
sure. So you
okay.
ride back, she blocks
I
the
ride
wind, you
behind her
coast.
and look at her butt
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah. It's like playing a video game.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't mean to be rude. No, it's do you ever ride in the front to break the wind or
Yeah,
or
we
do you
do
guys
that a
trade
lot.
off? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it seems fair.
she's technically she's faster and stronger than me, but sometimes I can make her a little bit faster by drafting her.
Yeah.
But it's not very often because I'm just not in the fitness she is. Like I'm pretty strong after a couple of years, but she's been doing it way longer and she's far more serious about training than I am.
Yeah.
But usually I'm behind her. And like Texas was like, I'd only been riding 6 months when we did that Texas trip, and we rode through serious headwinds.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to do it without drafting behind her, and she just kept going and kept going, and I was just hiding, like, and it was like
hiding in her air shadow.
Windy, really windy.
Give me a second. I'm going to go turn my air conditioner on. It's getting warm.
Yeah,
here.
go ahead.
Hold on.
Where all these fools with the UFC?
Oh, so much better. It's a little noisier, perhaps, but it's about to break a sweat.
So how's the van life been? How's the RV life?
I love it. I've known more people than I care to talk about who have been like, oh, that sounds awesome. I want to buy a van and drive around, or I want to get an RV and live in it full time. And they try it, and it doesn't really work out for them for whatever reason. And now I'm like, rent one, do a 3-week trip.
That's smart. Yeah, rent one for a week.
Rent one.
And try and go dry camp somewhere.
Put your SO, your dog, all your stuff you need. Go and don't just dry camp. I mean, you see on the brochures people parked in these beautiful vistas all by themselves. That's unrealistic. 80% of the time you're going to be in a city, or you're going to be at a KOA, or you're going to be parked on the side of the road somewhere. So do all of them. Have the whole experience.
So me and Allie got a Class A 6 months ago.
Oh, nice. So
and we've been doing it, and we absolutely love it, dude.
Yeah.
It's dope.
You're two people who can live on bicycles, so I'm not surprised that
I
you can live in an RV.
I grew up living in sailboats, so like this RV is huge to me.
No doubt. Yeah.
And me and Allie's place before, the Class A's are pretty big. So me and Allie's place before, we only had a little bit more space, but our priorities are, living a crypto lifestyle where we're living by the bull run every 4 years. So it's like more of a seasonal thing.
Right.
And she's so into writing, and I got remonetized this year, and I've just been pounding out way more stuff on YouTube.
Oh, nice.
And it fits our lifestyle so much better, and we're just investing that money in our asset and our crypto bags instead of just flushing it down the toilet.
No doubt.
And it was hard. The first pull away from the house, man, was like, oh boy, what are we gonna do? Where are we gonna go? Like, just knowing it was gonna take some time to really figure out what we're gonna do but luckily, we're in Southern California, which isn't very luckily, but we went and stayed down at the beach down in Malibu for a long time. And there's a law that passed Supreme Court. I can cite it. But it's a law that was passed by the Supreme Court 2 years ago that it makes it basically the police cannot fine you while you're in the act of being homeless.
Okay.
So PCH, Pacific Coast Highway, is full of RVs.
No doubt.
And the police don't harass them.
Yeah.
So we went down and away from most of them in this nice community area, and literally parked on the beach, set up our solar on the roof, and we were there 2 weeks before we got a knock. And they were just like, hey, we're gonna tow you. if you don't leave right now, and that was just because, and we only got the knock because we chose to be in kind of a nicer area
Sure.
than just out kind of in the middle of area nowhere with all the other RVs.
Right.
And but it was definitely tough the first couple weeks, just wondering where we're gonna end up.
Be.
And then it was summer at the time, so it was very hot. It was 110 degree days.
Yeah.
And then the air, the little Dometic refrigerators, they don't work past 80 degrees, and just
right.
And our rigs, we have a pretty dope RV. It's an older one, but it's a pusher diesel. It was a really nice one back in the day, and
Sure.
we got a really good deal on it. Nothing worked, and I'm a mechanic, so I'm fixing everything. And so that first couple months was just crazy, and we had to literally drive out of town because it was so hot.
Yeah.
We had to drive up north, along the coast, and stay just because it was so hot.
Well, yeah.
You have this whole other, all these other problems. You lose all these problems, but then you got all these new ones.
Well, because you literally live outside.
We have a cat, and we have everything we own on board. And how do we, cameras or just a security system? Sure. And then we go ride our bikes, and we're leaving the RV with the cat in there, and so it's not as easy.
No.
But it's definitely not easy, but it's just a different type of you got different responsibilities and stuff like that. And then now it's too cold,
right.
So
well, well, people that are used to living in homes where they have unlimited electricity, unlimited internet, unlimited refrigeration, unlimited water. I mean, it's not unlimited, but it feels like it, and you can behave like it is.
Psychopathic waste.
Yeah. It's just you don't think about it. When you live in an RV,
and then you're like,
aware.
oh my God, my bill's so high, and it's
right.
hello, you just ran everything the whole time.
Right. You left your TV on, and you were streaming TV shows over your internet connection over your phone that you weren't even watching. You learn how big your tanks are. You learn how much power you draw. You learn how much space you actually occupy, especially if you have pets. How well behaved or unruly they are. Also, your sort of psychological resilience to change. Like you said, you learn pretty quickly that you got to be where the temperature is livable pretty much all the time, which means you're almost constantly in motion, unless you're locked down in a park for a while, which sometimes you'll do, where you've got a steady shore power and you can air condition or heat.
At $50 a day.
Sure, it could be $50 a day, or $500 a month, or $1,500 a month, depending on where you are and what your tolerance is for being in a park. It has its pluses and minuses, and it's just not a lifestyle for everybody. I've been full-timing in the RV now for over a year. I've been living in it technically for 4 or 5 years. Previously, I had it parked in a warehouse in Las Vegas. So I lived in the RV, parked in the back of a warehouse, and I had some finished office space up front that I was using for a studio. So I've technically been living, sleeping, eating, bathrooming in my RV for probably 4 years now. And then I'll just take it on the road and drive around and do whatever I want whenever I feel like it. But I don't have pets. Oh, I lost your audio. You're muted.
So, the first place we went when we got the rig, I was actually looking on Craigslist, and someone was like, oh, hookups in our yard, and it was in this kind of area that was kind of nice outside of LA.
Right.
So we go, and we're like, oh, cool. It's this big, nice house, and there's big trees, and there's horses and goats, and all this super cool. And by day, and then it was $500. We're like, that's cool. That's fine for the summer because it's hot.
Sure.
So we can at least run the AC and stuff. And then how many days in, we're started going, wait, I think they're squatting here.
They're charging you to squat with them?
Yes. That's what ended up happening.
Hold on. Before you go any further, I think your microphone switched to the on computer mic. So check your audio settings.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, your voice got real tinny when that happened.
Okay, let me fix it real quick.
Yeah, because that's not that nice mic anymore.
Yeah. How do I do this here? So that was a really not fun.
Yeah.
Here we go. Oh, it's not. Is it not
Power go
reading?
out or something?
No. Yeah, I need to unplug it and plug it back in. Hold on.
I hear that cat.
Oh yeah, you'll hear this cat in every one of my videos. I start talking and he gets so pissed. He's like, "Dude, shut."
All right. Right when you did that.
That was
Nope.
better.
There you go. Now you're back. Yes, much
Okay.
better. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
So yeah, and so like 3 weeks in, and then there's just like all these random people are coming in and out of the place. And like 3 weeks in, we just bailed. We were like,
Yeah.
that was a waste of money. Like, what
Yeah.
a nightmare.
Yeah.
And yeah. And it turned out they were like the whole house. They had like demoed the whole interior of the house and they were growing mushrooms and selling
Nice.
them. And they had people driving in from like all over the place, all over the country. It was like this center, this hub of like, and they were
Shroom
these
Central
the sketchiest people, but they had
Yeah.
like the best, like the most presentable people sell,
Sure.
rent the place out. And then it was just like, who are all these sketchy people here?
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, oh God, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
But
One time. Go ahead.
yeah, it's like everyone. It's just it seems like a good idea to rent a spot like that, but it's just like living in a house again. And you have roommates basically, so
Sure.
we've found it's odd because we ended up going up north to this other city that's kind of a farming-ish city outside of LA, and we found this really, really nice industrial area and met a community of people there. And turns out about like half of them are Liberty heads, and they're like auditors and sovereign people. Like it's like very common enough to where you just stumble upon them.
Sure.
And it's been pretty fun. Right now is the off season, so we aren't driving around that much, going to bike races or anything, just
Right,
because it's
right.
starting to get cold. But we just went to Palm Springs. My dad was in town in Palm Springs and had some work for me to do, so we just drove over there. And it's just and it was funny. The first bike race we went to, we're used to driving to them and getting a hotel or camping or something. And
It's
we were
definitely
just
cheaper
like-
to bring your own vehicle with you than it is to
Yeah,
go to.
and then
especially
we're
if you're
like-
carrying the bikes. Yeah.
just instantly just like, oh, I guess we gotta drive back to the hotel. No, we're here. All
We're
of our
here.
stuff's here. Like, it's so cool. Those
Yeah.
those aha moments when you're like, oh, that's so cool. That's why we have an RV,
Yeah.
And then
I heard a story that Ron White, the comedian, since we were talking about comedians earlier,
What
drives
the
around to his
hell?
gigs.
Yeah.
What? Well,
I was just in a podcast where a buddy of mine was showing a video of him doing stand-up comedy with Ron White, and it's just
Yeah.
like this like coincidence stuff happens to me like 1,000 times a day, and it's just too weird.
Yeah. Well, I just brought him up because he basically drives his RV to Vegas whenever he's going to perform there, and just parks in the back lot at the Mirage or wherever he's playing.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want the presidential suite. I got my whole house right
Yeah.
here.
How about just
You know,
give
why
me the
would I-
money? I'll just
Yeah.
put it into the gas tank.
Exactly.
And yeah.
I was going to say the most sketchy place I've ever stayed. And at first I was like, do I need to carry? Do I need to be concerned about security? Do I need to have cameras? As you would expect, you might be harassed when you're on the street. And haven't ever had a problem with that, thank goodness. But I did park once. I was on the road going to Montana, and it was late at night, and I was tired, and I needed to pull over. There wasn't anywhere to go, so I just thought I'll find one of these little power line roads that goes out into the open space, and I'll just pull off there, and I'll drive up into the hills a little bit. It's hard pack. It's not, my rig is pretty substantial. It'll get pretty much anywhere. And so I pulled off the road. I went and I found there was an open space, and I just kind of pulled in there and sort of angled up and with my back of my service side to the highway, and packed in, went to sleep. Woke up at the sunrise, opened up a window, looked out, and about 50 feet away from me was what looked like a biker hovel, like a
wow.
biker gang, like they
Yeah.
built a clubhouse out of corrugated steel. And,
Oh,
and
you didn't even notice?
pallets.
You just rolled
Oh,
up
I didn't
on
see
it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And all the area where it was around me that was hard packed was actually from people doing like donuts and motorcycles.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was
Oh.
like, I'm parked
Oh.
outside of a biker clubhouse. I got to get
the
the F out of here.
place ever. I picked it.
It was the weekday. They weren't there. Lucky
Yeah.
me. And I was out by 7 a.m. So it wasn't like that big of a deal. But yeah, you got to be careful who's where. Where you
Yeah,
park
we've
for the night
just
sometimes.
we just had problems. I'm a diesel mechanic. This is
Yeah.
a diesel. Blah blah blah. So when I got it, we started using it, and of course, it's going to break down a couple
Sure.
times. I lost the brakes coming down
Oh,
off
that's fun.
out of Bakersfield, like the Kern Canyon area, and but like whenever it's broken down, we always like find really cool, like it's always an adventure breaking down
Sure.
with an RV, like you always end up someplace kind of cool or unexpected. But we've like broken down a couple places and have those places ended up being really super cool.
Yeah, right.
And
Unexpected stops that turn out to be beneficial. Yeah.
yeah. And
So, do you guys document your travels on your YouTube channel? Is that what that's about?
we're moving into the RV, stopped the YouTube channel for a couple months just because I had to work on this thing and deal with everything. But we're just finally getting settled down into making videos again.
Nice.
We've been doing it on Instagram, but I think Instagram's kind of a waste of time these days.
Yeah.
And I'm monetized on YouTube, so we're hitting YouTube hard from now on.
It's funny. I was monetized on YouTube many years ago, and I made $100 off of YouTube.
No.
And then they changed the rules and demonetized me.
That's why I had the same thing. I was what they call us, YouTube partner back then. I was a YouTube partner, and I was making like $30 a month or something.
Yeah.
Now I'm making like $138 a month, which isn't
not bad.
really worth it yet, but
Hey, it doesn't hurt.
yeah,
that's groceries,
it's money,
or some gas.
It's Bitcoin, like
which could multiply. Hey, I'm gonna get you to give a shout out on your channel to mine, so I can get I got 195 subs, so I got a ways to go before I get to 1,000.
Go ahead.
I can just do it now.
We should do. I started that like Freedom RVer YouTube Facebook page, but we should almost do like this type of a full timer kind of.
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because you're very serious about it. You've been doing a long time. We just started, and we're kind of going through all the motions. But there's a market for it, man. YouTube is full of RV full timer videos, and like these people are doing tons of stuff. But like my channel is just there's so many things at once. But it's just kind of that's how it's we're just doing lifestyle stuff.
Yeah, and actually, that's a good idea. Let me know if you want to do that. I'd be more than happy to be part of it. I got the studio set up right here.
And then last year after Float Fest, didn't you meet up with a bunch of RVers somewhere on some BLM land and kind of hang out for a while?
I did. I did a couple of things last year. I didn't bring my rig to Float Fest last year. I just brought a tent and a canopy and some other stuff. And a van.
Did you have a strange tent though?
I had one of those shift pods, the silver foil kind of thing. Yeah, I love that thing. It was great. It was still too hot, but first year I brought my whole rig. Second year I just brought the shift pod. But after that I hit the road for a little while. I drove all the way to Florida and back. I'm a scuba diver, so I wanted to get some
cool.
cenote diving in North Florida. I'm PADI certified all the way up to certified dive master or whatever they call it. The end of the residential, the end of the recreational path. And now I'm doing tech diving classes with.
Cool. So you're a sea guy like me.
Yeah.
An ocean guy.
I like ocean. I like fresh water. I'm interested in cavern and caving. Ultimately, I want to dive in Iceland and do cave dives.
Dude, there's
ice caves.
I grew up I lived in Santa Cruz in Northern California for a while. There's some epic caves in Santa Cruz that no one really even knows about that go several miles to the ocean.
Wow.
But yeah, that's cool. I by the time my dad was a professional sea captain. So the time I was like 16, I had sailed from Alaska to Chile on several different types of boats.
So, you mentioned you own a boat, right? Yeah.
I did. I used to own a boat. Yeah, I used to have a boat. I used to work on these like period proper tall ships, and like we used to take people out and shoot cannons and dress like pirates and stuff.
Cool.
That's what I was doing when I was like 14, 13. Yeah, so it was really fun. And so yeah, that's why the RV like I've never felt right apart. Like I've never felt comfortable in an apartment or anything
Yeah.
like that. Oh, and and it was never felt worth it to me because I was just like, it's so expensive.
No doubt.
I'd rather, and it makes my dad just had a boat, you know, and he'd just go and surf, you know, and like he just did whatever he, you know, he's a paramedic, would work half
the way
a
he
month,
wanted to. Yeah.
and then would work as a captain and then just do whatever he's want. And he was teaching me agorism without me even knowing, without him even really knowing what he was doing.
That was just his lifestyle. It wasn't even a philosophy necessarily.
And so
I got into it. I guess if I have to go all the way back, I don't know if you're old enough or have ever heard of the TV show Quincy.
How old are you?
54.
Okay, I'm not older than you, but
a little
I'm
bit
close.
older.
I'm 45.
Right on.
Everyone thinks I'm like 20 though for some reason.
So there used to be this TV show called Quincy, and it was about some Los Angeles medical examiner. I don't know if it's probably not relevant.
I remember that.
But one of the bits was that the guy lived in a boat in the marina, and I was just like, that sounds pretty cool. I didn't know you could do that. I mean, you know, because I lived in a house. I was a kid, right? We didn't know. And I'm like, that's interesting. And then I saw the movie Battle Beyond the Stars, which came out the same year that Star Wars did, but nobody knows about it.
Yeah, because
and one of the guys, it was the guy from the A-Team. What's the guy, the lead guy, the oldest guy? And he was like a trucker, and he lived on his spaceship truck, right? And the spaceship would drive itself, fly itself, whatever they do from like planet to planet. And he just sort of lived on the truck, and that was his thing.
Like,
and I was
so
like,
cool.
I was like, that's awesome. That's what I want to do. So when I got old enough, I mean, I always wanted an Airstream since I was a kid. So when I got old enough, I just went out and bought one, and finally just decided I'm just going to do that. You know, if you think about small towns like planets that have their own populations and cultures and food and heritage and all that stuff.
We're just being nomadic like humans are supposed to be.
The highways are just the spaces in between. You know, my
the
car
more
doesn't drive
things you
itself yet.
see, the happier your brain is. The
I
more
think so.
new things you experience, you know.
Definitely for me, and for yourself as well. And if you want to live in an RV, you kind of have to embrace that lifestyle. You're not just saving money. You know, that's not the only. You know, living a small footprint is nice, but that's you got to be into it for more than that.
Yeah, it's been fun watching my girlfriend get used to it.
She's like, I'm the biker, and you're like, we're gonna live in an RV, and she's like, ooh, well, you did for me, so now I have to do for you, right? It's compromise. It's finding your pathway together.
She was just as into it as I am. It's just she hasn't lived on a boat half her life and hasn't.
It's a little adjustment period.
Dealt with having no space.
Well, you know, it's funny. My most prized possession when I lived in houses was like a mid-century modern furniture. You know, a chair or a tiki mug collection, and now my most prized possession is a blanket. So you learn, it's a very specific blanket. You adjust, you know, your focus in life of what matters. That blanket's super warm, and it also packs real tight. So,
like, I brought like,
hey, how's it going? It's good to see you.
We brought I brought like 4 t-shirts, three pairs of shorts, 2 pairs of pants, and a hoodie on board, and that was it.
That was it.
Like, that's it.
I got a bag of clothes that's about the size of an army duffel bag. Like 3 pairs of shoes. That's it. Oh, no decorations. Most of it is my equipment that I use for work, and then bed space. So
I just set up the studio right in the middle of the rig, and like we just have to like live around it now.
Yeah, pretty much. And you also get used to the idea of being outside. When I lived in San Francisco for way too long, I had a very small apartment, and I got the idea that, there's lots of public spaces, either inside of buildings or on rooftops or parks or museums. You can buy an annual pass for $50 and go to the MoMA every day. So I'm just like, why do people sit in their houses when there's so many places you can actually go and be and enjoy more in some places than others, of course. I mean, so when I think about living in an RV, I don't think I've got 20 feet by 8 feet and that's my whole world. I'm like 2 minutes walk down the street is Zilker Park. It's a bigger front yard than anyone I know has got, and I don't have to mow it.
Yeah.
Or
like when we were down by the beach and we're like, look, we're next to $100 million houses and we have just as good a view as them.
Yeah, and you're like, this ocean belongs to me.
Yeah. They have to maintain all that, and even if they own it, it's like millions of dollars of property tax, and we just
Insurance.
need to put diesel in this thing,
Yeah,
you know, and
yeah,
like
yeah.
make sure the solar panels are up.
And I mean, I'm sure wealth is nice. I'm sure it comes with its own problems, but
Yeah.
the thought of owning, quote unquote, a thing that costs $20 million or $30 million, the carrying costs involved in that, the cleaning, the insurance, the property taxes, all that stuff, and then the idea that you could lose it, you know, in, I don't know, an earthquake or a missile strike or whatever. You know, if I lost everything I have, it's not that much. It's a lot easier to let go of, I imagine, maybe.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny, but it's been a lot of fun. And
There's the
then,
cat.
And then something else we noticed, like time slowed down.
Yes.
Like when you move into an RV, like holy crap.
Yeah, things are always changing. Time doesn't pass as quick as when you fall into that routine of, you know, renting from one place and then maybe like
Right.
9 to 5 job 5 days a week.
Like,
Right.
like I think like 6 weeks went by, and I was like, man, it's felt like we've been here for a year, you know, in this
Right.
RV, where before it was just like months were going by like nothing, you know, and it's just
Well,
like,
and yeah, and the converse is you become more attuned to the seasons, like you mentioned, you know.
Yeah.
So you actually not only do you feel time slowing down, but you actually get to live in that time more, you know. Yeah, you know, I
you're
have
not
friends
like,
who like,
oh, summer's already over. I didn't even
Right.
notice it, you know.
no, I
You're
went
like,
outside
no,
every
it's
day,
not.
you know. Every morning I'm like, the leaves are falling here, there's trees here, and my little area is covered in leaves, so I sweep it out. And you know, I mean, like, I just try to enjoy the place that I'm at and the time that I'm at, and I make new friends with the neighbors, and I walk around the neighborhood. You know, I might stay here for a year or two or whatever, and then move to another location, or drive, you know, during the time that I'm here if I want. But I feel like it's, you know, living more outside, more in tune with nature, more in tune with time. It's a better way to, for me at least. I don't know. I like
Yeah,
it.
I think it definitely takes a certain type of person, or a person with certain tendencies, perhaps,
Right.
to appreciate the freedom that this lifestyle brings. But like you were saying before, I heard like talking about the difficulties, you know, that
Yeah.
it's you know, what kind
Different
of, which
set.
difficulties you want. Yeah, a different set of difficulties.
Yeah.
Some
it's like
days
the-
I just have to like give her a hug, and I'm like, well, RV life's tough, babe, and she's like, oh, no.
Ants everywhere.
There's ants, and it's like, well,
things going on, but
Yeah. Well, you know, it's like the difference between being self-employed and working for a company. Everybody's like, oh, it's so much more stable when you work for a big business. I'm like, you could be pink slip tomorrow. You have no idea. You know, if my business is failing, I know months, maybe years in advance, and I can plan ahead for it. You know, sometimes, not always, but you know, it's a different kind of problems. I'd rather have the kind of problems where, you know, I don't have enough space and I have to sort of limit myself or find alternatives for certain things or make compromises. I'd rather have that than have, you know, a 3,000 square foot house, which I've had. And my problem is trying to fill it up with as much crap, you know, to feel like it's not empty and echoey.
Yeah.
And then ending up not caring about any of that crap and selling it and moving on, you know, which I've done.
Yep, it's definitely crazy. And you were saying right outside of town, you can just go to a park, and they're significantly cheaper.
Oh, I mean, you know, for $5 a day, or I think it's $80 a month, you can have. Is it $80? No, it's $80 a year. You can have the Barton pool pass, and you can just walk in. I walk over there. It's 2 minutes away. I walk over there, just hang out in the yard, go swimming every day if I want when it's open. Zilker's right down the street. There's a saloon
You guys
right up in
have
the corner.
Planet Fitness out there?
I'm sure there are. Do you guys do the Planet
we have them
Fitness
here.
dealer?
It's like $10, and both of us get to go work out. They have showers.
yeah, hot
Right.
They have
showers,
massage
great
machines.
hours.
Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like,
Yeah, I did that for a little
like, we
while
don't
when
even
I was on the
we
road
don't
a
even
lot.
use our shower on board anymore,
Sure.
or water on board, because we just do it there. Like, there's no
Yeah.
point.
Absolutely. So good life hack for people on the road. Just get a
Oh,
gym
God.
membership where you can use the gym everywhere.
And
I have a
they won't kick any member out of their parking lot too.
Oh,
But
that's
obviously,
easy.
like, we couldn't go there with our rig, but like if you have like something more mellow,
Smaller, like a van or something. Yeah. I also rent space at WeWork, which is a new thing for me. But you know, it's half a mile down the street. So I get on my bike. I got an electric bike. I ride down to the WeWork, go in for a couple hours, get a free coffee. Free. I mean, you know, But then the amount of coffee I've drunk and the tea bags I've taken out to drink later probably equal about half the cost of me being there. You know,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm getting some of that money back. And then sometimes there's free food, or people are having conversations, or there's an event, and you can mix it up a little bit. It's like being in a coffee shop, but a little more focused on work. I get all the internet I want there, so I can use their internet to download updates or whatever I need to do. So you kind of spread your domicile out. You know, different parts of it are in different places. You know, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to go.
One moving to a. Go ahead.
I was just gonna. Sorry, go ahead. You were saying?
No, go.
Oh, I was just gonna dip out. I got to go in a minute.
Yeah,
I got
no,
some work I got to do.
Cool, man. We'll do this again soon, though.
Yeah, I like the idea of doing a show, inviting people on who are thinking about going on RVs or who have done it for a long time. I think it's pretty
Or
cool.
just-
So if you guys know some folks, let's put up a schedule. And I
Yeah, that's
can-
kind of why I started
some
that
time.
Facebook page, was just to kind of
Yeah.
collect a group of people, and we could kind of,
Right on.
start a little bit of a community and keep in touch.
Yeah,
'Cause
I've
it's
met
a
some really
crazy
great
life.
people on the road. Some
Yeah.
really good friends of mine I met when I was in Florida. They're on the road all the time. We cross paths every now and then and meet up for lunch or dinner or something. So, building a community of people on the road that need to help each other out, I think is a good idea.
Cool, man. Well, let's
Yeah.
talk again soon.
All right. Thanks. It's
Peace.
good seeing you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
See
All right,
ya.
we'll see you. Where's the button? Where's
Steve
the
says
button?
bye too.